what if you're not falling behind? What if you're not behind at all? I don't know. Y'all may have already come up with 4 different ways where you can prove to me that you're behind. Why? Because you actually took the summer off of classes or of internships. And now you're like, oh my gosh, but I shouldn't have taken 4 instead of resting. However, 2 months ago, it was really important for you to rest. Or perhaps you're working 1 or 2 or 3 jobs to survive. And because of that, you now have to take less classes to know, like also sleep and continue to survive, which means that instead of this arbitrary 4 years of graduating college, now it's going to be 5 or 6 or 9 years, right? Like, perhaps after high school, you took a break because you were burnt out, or you wanted to travel, or you wanted to spend time with your grandmother because you don't know how much time you have left. Can you all see that these are all amazingly valid? So when we think about falling behind, is it absolutely something that we tend to feel? Yes. Is it valid? Yes, because I think it actually speaks to a deeper fear or even a deeper care. As human beings, we care about living this life to the fullest, whatever that means to us, so that we're satisfied, so that we feel joy or peace or whatever this life has to offer for us. We have an idea of what that is. We care about living it. We care about meeting the goals or the purposes that sort of like nag at us. Yes? Can we live that life? Can we get to the end of our lives and look back and say, yes, I did it. No regrets. Fun. Do it again. I think that's what we want. And when we get worried, right, that maybe in this world, in this life that is lifing and super uncertain, we sort of focused on there's rules, there's these parameters that if I followed somebody else's structure and this arbitrary timeline, that perhaps everything will come to fruition. But there are faults to this premise. There are ways that this premise actually doesn't make sense. So if you are struggling with feeling behind, here are 3 perspectives that may help. 3, just three. So one maybe, again, if we're thinking about there's a timeline that I need to follow, and if I follow this, then success. My first question is, whose version of success? Who said? Who said, for example, that we should do 12 years here in the United States of school and then do 4 years of a college and then 2 years for a master's and then however long, an additional 4 years for a dissertation or for a doctorate? Like, who said? You think that they did a study back in the day of best practices, what works for people? No. And how do we know that? Other countries have different time frames. Some countries start school at 3, some start at 6 or 7. Some do college in 3 years, some do it in 5. Y'all, it's sort of this arbitrary number. So whatever this universal law is related to a timeline that we're supposed to follow that creates success, who created it? And if they did create it, does that mean that all 8 billion plus human beings function and thrive with the same timeline? It doesn't actually logically make sense. So can we just let that go? That somebody somewhere just was like, I think it's best to get married at 25. It worked for me. And then that became consensus. And then that became the rule. Says who? I would just question. Can we just let that go? That sort of this timeline is arbitrary and it's not universal and it doesn't work for everyone, which means we get to actually decide what works for us and what's valuable for us. Now, when I talk to a lot of young adults, the falling behind tends to happen as a comparison. Because on socials, or you're talking to your friends and you're noticing that they're traveling, or you're noticing that they're getting an apartment, or that they were able to move out, or whatever it is. And then the fear comes up of, oh my gosh, am I going slower? Which ultimately means, will I ever get there? Will I actually be able to do the thing that I want to, that I set out to? But again, for this, let's use an analogy. Let's just say our life is a path, okay? For us to be behind somebody else, we have to have the same starting point, and we have to have the same goal. We have to have the same finish line. Now, if you think of all those people, can y'all see that we're all starting from different starting points, and we all have a different finish line? We all have a different goal, a different purpose, a different set of values. We all have a different way of how we want to run our race or how we want to live our lives. So if a path is the trajectory of our life, can y'all see that because this path is just mine, it has its individual, unique starting point, different than 8 billion people. Well, I know some people have the same birthdays and time as me, but we do have a different end and finish line goal. Yeah? So even if I see somebody who's on their own path and it crosses mine, can y'all see that I can't be behind? Or they can't be behind me, because we started somewhere different and we're ending somewhere different. Also, this behind thing makes me think of doing things fast. Now, y'all, if you know me, I know that this is my bias, because when I was younger, I just want to do everything fast. For some reason, I thought that this was the better way. You want me to graduate in 4 years? You know what? I'm actually going to graduate with my undergraduate and my master's and be ABD, all but dissertation, in those 4 years. I'm just going to do it fast. You want me to run schools? Great. I'm going to do it by 25. Y'all, but that's not how we all want to. Sometimes we want to actually be on our path and smell the flowers. I don't know about y'all, but right now Colorado has amazing wildflowers. When I go for a walk, I get so excited to slow down and look at them all. Maybe we just want to be present with the wildflowers. Maybe we want to look at the full moon that was last night, and it was orange and gorgeous, and I just wanted to sit there. So we're allowed to also want to do our lives at different paces. That's actually okay. It doesn't mean that we're doing it wrong. It's actually an additive, because how many of you actually want to live life hustling and bustling and burning out? Y'all have seen that. That's my generation. Y'all have seen your parents do that and go into burnout, and y'all are like, no, we're not going to do that. Y'all messed up. I get it. Why? Because we went fast for a long time. We didn't stop, and we hustled for a long time. And now we're paying the price. We can't, it's not sustainable. Also, was there peace? Was there joy? Was there presence? Was there connection with other human beings? There's consequences when we're trying to go fast all of the time. So can y'all just bear with me with this premise for a moment? Is that it's actually just not possible. If we're looking at the analogy of, I have this unique path that I am living on. Nobody is living the life that I am living. Nobody has the goals and the purposes and the values that I do, the way that I do. Nobody knows the pace and the capacity and how I want to walk or run or lay or sit or eat on my path, which means there's no comparison with anybody else. I can't be behind on my own damn path that's just for me. I get to choose how I want to walk it, run it, dance it, sit on my booty on it. I get to do it my way. Now, the last thing, and this is one that I'm facing more and more as I get older, is sometimes the behind, at least for me, feels like, will I have enough time? And so when I think of, am I behind? It's actually a signal for me of, it's not about being behind. It's, will I be able to continue to feel joy in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or is there an expiration date? It becomes more, do I have enough time to fulfill on the things that I want to do? Or how long do I get to move my body in the way that I want to? How long do I get to teach in this fashion or be around young adults so that they still think that I'm relevant? Y'all, I'm 44. Do I have 2 years? Do I have 5 years? If I become 50, are y'all all of a sudden going to be like, nope, no more? Right? So I think that there's sort of that time frame of like, maybe there's a limited time that I get to do the things that I enjoy. Then it's actually not about feeling behind on something. The fear for me, at least, is how long do I get to keep doing life my way? How long do I actually get to feel joy until I'm 80, until I'm 105? Then it becomes a trust. So not only it's like, okay, it puts into perspective what I actually want now. And my lived experience is that yes, life is lifing, life is hard. There's always challenges. And life gets better and better and better and better. Now, has the world said that as you get older, as women, we become obsolete, we lose value, getting old is no fun, we become decrepit? Yes, a lot of the world tells us this. And yet my experience up until this point is it gets better. It gets better. Now, do I have a fear that maybe me at 75 will believe that it's not better? Yes. I have that fear, and also I don't have to listen to it. Because that urgency is really about, I actually really just want to enjoy my life. I want to live it in a way that I am proud of. I want to live it in a way that feels like I'm living full up, which means I get to do it now. And I get to trust that if I've done it so far, future me will be able to do it again. Future me will have whatever circumstances, and I'll be able to make whatever choices to create in my life the things that matter to me at that point. Okay, so if you are feeling behind right now, what if you're not? What if it's a faulty premise? What if it actually just like logically doesn't make sense? And it's also valid. We're allowed to be in the gray. So my question to you is, what if you've done it right? What if you've made all of the right choices? Because you said it's right, because it matters to you, because it's important to you. You wanted to take a break? Great. You wanted to do things 3 times as fast as others? Great. When you're looking at the comparison and feeling behind, you get to actually use that as a signal of what you want to lean into next. Not that you're actually behind, but maybe you find yourself scrolling and noticing, I keep stopping on the one related to travel, on the one related to having a van by the river. Perhaps then it becomes a signal of what I want to do next. Not that I have done anything wrong, not that I have missed my opportunity, but now on this path of life that's just ours, when we get to the fork in the road, we actually just get to go to, I keep thinking about travel and RV and van life. I'm going to go in that direction. And then that path is going to lead to what's next. And it's only by going on that path, having the courage to be uncertain and keep going, that you're going to come to another fork in the road that you will never have been able to come to unless you made that choice in the first place. Okay. I hope that helps. That's all for today. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to dive deeper, if you're like, wait, hold on, but what about my circumstance? You didn't speak to this, or I actually disagree with you with this part. What about this? Oh my gosh, please tell me. Please message me on socials. Please comment here, and we can go over it together. This is the stuff that I love. All right, so if you don't know me yet, my name is CL. I've been a professor for over 25 years. I am a life coach for young adults, supporting y'all in creating lives that light you up, just you. And also because you being lit up actually matters to the community and to the world and what you're trying to do. I just talk about purpose in life. Like, I just love being here, supporting y'all, and being able to do your lives in ways that feel really, really, really good to you. So I'm here. I'll continue to be here. Hope this helps.